This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. Happy Saturday, at least it is for us as we're recording it. Today, I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Nancy and Andres. How are you guys on this lovely Saturday?
I'm so glad we're recording on a Saturday, but I'm not as happy that we're recording at 9 a.m. for me.
Pros and cons.
Yes, but I do have my mimosa, so.
Because if you're going to drink in the morning, you have to do it with class.
Listen, we're talking about this beforehand. If I popped a Truly open, I feel like people would be concerned. But when you have a mimosa,
all of a sudden that just
that's
alleviates all worry.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Okay. All right.
But we're called Film on Tap, and I feel like because we always record on Sundays, like I never get a chance to actually drink. So yeah, this is my one opportunity.
Your one shot, your one moment. Will you capture it?
Or let it slip.
You have to finish it. Andres, how are you today?
I'm doing quite fantastically, actually. I don't have any booze, unfortunately, this morning, but I do have Minute Maid Fruit Punch, which
in a coffee mug.
Getting lit.
In a Back to the Future musical coffee mug, guys. All right.
That's funny.
On average, how many coffee cups would you say you have? Because I have way too many.
Ooh,
so many. Oh my God.
I think we have 2 cabinets full of just like my mugs.
Yes.
At what point do you start sacrificing some? Where you're just like,
never. There's always room.
There's always room, and we only sacrifice something if it just happens by accident.
Yeah, if it's chipped or something. You guys are like those old ladies who have like tons of spoons everywhere for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I mean, I had a Batman mug that got chipped, but I thought it gave it character, so I kept it.
Character as in it's gonna make your mouth bleed when you.
Well, no, you know what end not to drink from. So
there you go.
What would you say is your favorite mug?
Oh, I would say probably my favorite one. You know what? I always keep coming back to this one. Actually, no, it's a toss-up between 2 of them. The Spider-Man mug that you have, Tom, actually is one of my favorites. Yeah. And then also I bought a mug specifically because people kept stealing my my mugs over at an old job that I had. So I had like this Friday the 13th Jason mask with like 2 crossbones, and I don't know why that one always makes me laugh. So I was like,
seen that one.
Oh yeah, I've drank
come Halloween time, one of the best places to get mugs is Spirit Halloween. Like they have like a whole like section for mugs, and I kind of like have to stop myself from buying like 20 mugs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think last year I bought like a Back to the Future Part 2 mug where like the handle was the hoverboard. I was like, this is everything.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, this is sick.
Yeah, now I'm just hunting. Now I'm just hunting for a what is called a Luther Corp mug.
Well, best of luck to you in your search, sir.
Yeah, will do. But how are you doing today, Tom?
Not too bad. It feels weird recording on a Saturday. It feels so weird.
It feels good.
It does kind of feel nice. Not gonna lie. Even though like I have to like jet from here an hour.
You have a packed day. Yeah, wait, you gotta say what your favorite mug is, though.
Oh, my favorite mug. Honestly, like I definitely love my Batman mug. It's very distinguished. I'm trying to think what else. I have a Hocus Pocus mug that's great, where like the front of it says like "Another glorious morning makes me sick," which I love. I have a bunch of like Halloween inspired. Like I have a Ghostface one. I've got like a bunch of comic book ones, but this is the one I tend to use the most now. It's like a camera lens.
Say the camera one, yeah.
I use this one all the time because it's like so easily portable and it like fits perfectly into every cup holder I have. So I'm just like, I don't know. It's very versatile.
Yeah, you got that one for Christmas, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, enough about mugs.
Mugs.
Yeah, go on for days.
I could go on for days about mugs. My next YouTube video will be me just taking people through my mug collection.
I would watch the shit.
I know you'd be the one person.
I know you would.
100%. But anyway, we've got a fun show for you guys today. We actually have a few trailers to talk about. So big couple weeks for trailers. And of course, we got a big movie to talk about in Fantastic Four. So we're going to dive right on in here. And the first one we're going to be talking about trailer-wise is the new trailer for Disney's Tron Ares, the highly anticipated sequel to Tron Legacy that stars Jared Leto.
I thought legitimately for a second you were like, who's in this movie again?
No, that pause is for
he would never.
But yeah, so we got our first big look at the movie. We got a teaser a little while back. So this is our first big trailer for it. Hits theaters in October. What do we think of this trailer? Let's start with you, Andres.
Oh. Well, so far, from what we've seen of this trailer in this movie, I think the concept of the graded characters coming into the real world is a fascinating one, and visually it's there. But so far from everything that I'm seeing, it's leading me down a road of thinking that this is going to be another forgettable Disney dud sequel. I don't know. The guy that they got to direct this as well, I think his name is Yohim Ronan. But anyway, he has done some very forgettable movies in the Disney sphere. He's done the sequel to Maleficent. He's also done he does sequels to movies that are do we necessarily need a sequel from that? And they're all bad, for lack of better words. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I will say I'm loving what I'm hearing from Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails in terms of the soundtrack. I think that's going to be great. I love the fact that they got back Jeff Bridges for this, but I think it's going to be a very small role. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I'm going to see it, but it's not necessarily one that I'm looking forward to because of the fact that I love the Tron movies and I loved Tron Legacy. But this just kind of looks like, okay, it's got great visuals, but it almost just kind of feels like there's no heart or soul to it. So yeah.
Yikes, Nancy. Wow.
I think it looks good. Again, like Andres was saying, visually. I swear the mimosa's
hitting.
By
the end of the episode, let's fucking talk Fantastic. Like Sue Storm, who is she?
Bitch. Yeah, no, but I think it looks really great. Again, Jared Leto, I don't know. He's just all over the place for me. I don't know. I have no connection to the Tron movies though, because I haven't seen the first two yet, so I need to catch up. So that could also be why I'm probably a little bit more on board than most people who have seen the first two movies. I think it's going to be fine, but I don't, like Andres was saying, it doesn't seem like it's going to be something that's memorable. And this also seems like a movie that probably would do well as not a Disney movie. I'd like to see a little bit like a darker side than what Disney usually provides. So yeah, I'll go see it. It's not what I'm excited for, but it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, I feel like I'm cautiously optimistic for this movie. I actually think visually it looks really cool. It definitely seems very in line with Tron Legacy visually. I'm in the red aesthetic. I don't know. I just feel like it just kind of pops. And some of the visuals here are really cool and different for the Tron franchise. There's some action beats that I think I really dug. But it's the Jared Leto thing, man. But but also I think it's kind of a stroke of genius to cast him as a robot, essentially.
Yes. And he's gonna die 20 times.
And so I feel like it's gonna be cathartic for anyone who saw Morbius. But I when I was watched the trailer, I think it was in front of Fantastic Four, it came up and there was someone next to me where when he's revealed in the trailer, someone's like, oh. And I was like, yep, that's about right for when you see Jared Leto in a movie trailer. But yeah, I mean, director aside, because I know the only movie I know that he directed was Maleficent 2. I'm it's all right. But I think it looks fun. I definitely think this is a movie you got to see in 3D for sure. I can't wait to see another Tron movie in 3D. I'm interested to see where the story goes. I think the cast looks solid for the most part. Seeing Evan Peters pop up, that's great. Jeff Bridges being back. I also like the little nods to the original movie, where he first enters and it kind of looks like the OG Tron world, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. And yeah, I'm intrigued. And this is a movie I definitely want to see in theaters. I have no idea if it's going to be good or not. Who knows? But yeah, that Nine Inch Nails score, that's banger. I can't wait to hear more of that. That's going to be great. And I think they're a perfect fill-in after Daft Punk, because I know everyone was super bummed they didn't come back for this. But I think it's a pretty solid replacement, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they're using that as a selling point too, because right after
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
the title comes up, it's like 9-inch nails. And it's like,
Oh.
okay, cool.
Oh yeah, no, even right now at Comic-Con as we speak, they have like a little booth, or the Tron Disney has a little booth over at Comic-Con, and what they're doing is they're actually handing out vinyls of samples of the Tron score. So I'm like, oh, they know they got a banger of a score on this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. I can't wait to hear more of that. It's going to be good. But speaking of a banger, let's talk about hoppers. Holy mother of segues. But shifting gears. Well, actually, no, we're still in the Disney world. So actually, we're not shifting gears too heavily. So we got our first trailer for Pixar's Hoppers, which hits theaters next year. They're going full Avatar with this one. In fact, they even reference it in the trailer. It's a story about a young girl who puts her mind inside a... What is it? A gopher or something?
It's a beaver, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beaver.
It's a beaver?
No, it's not a beaver. No, it's not a beaver.
Okay.
No, because it doesn't have the tail.
Welcome to Film on Tap, where we do our research. But anyway, she gets her mind put inside an animal to stop, I think, like some environment from being destroyed. So it's definitely very like Go Green centric. But I was stunned by how enjoyable this trailer was. I like genuinely laughed out loud multiple times, and I'm like so ready for this movie. Like there's like so many little bits that are great, but like especially the ending bit was like had me dying with a bear attempting to eat another animal and then her trying to stop it, and then all of a sudden they're like, why are you doing that? You know, he caught me fair and square. Like this is how it works. Like I sit here, he catches me, he eats me, and then
this is nature.
This is nature, man. Like, I don't know. I really dug it. What did you guys think, Nancy?
Oh my gosh. So I was catching up on trailers this morning and, you know, super early in the morning. And when I saw this and pulled it up, I was like, why the hell are we reviewing this? This looks so stupid. And I started playing it. And within the 10 seconds, I was like, so it's Avatar, but animated. And then as soon as they said it, I was like, okay, I'm in. I love when a movie can like make fun of itself. It knows what it is. And then as the trailer got started, I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. This looks so funny. The animation looks great. It's giving me was it Mitchell's versus the Machines or what?
Yeah,
Mitchell's versus Machines. It's giving me that kind of vibe. Yeah, it looks great. I was weirdly surprised. This looks fucking fantastic. So I'm definitely going to see this.
Okay. I like the enthusiasm. How about you, Andre?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Disney Animation has kind of been letting me down with so many of these trailers lately. I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I'm sorry, but I wasn't really excited for Elio, no matter how many times they threw it in my face and how many times they wanted me to love this character. And there's just been so many trailers that I just felt cold and distant towards. And this is like the first time that I've watched a Disney animated trailer and gone, oh, this is something new. And this is something that looks like it's going to have fun with the premise. So honestly, the aspect of transferring a conscious human brain into a small little animal and then having the dialogue between everybody else and being able to oddly hear nature into a certain extent and see the gossipy side of nature. I don't know. That all sounds like a lot of fun, guys. So I'm fully on board with it. I actually am pretty excited to see it. And also they're dropping it in March, which is the Zootopia slot, which that means to a certain extent they do have some faith in this. So I'm all on board. It looks great.
Yeah, I love the part where the two deers are walking and they're just gossiping like, he was in his den all night. Yeah, I love it.
Like you can tell they freaking had a blast writing this movie. Like they're just like, how can we make nature hilarious?
Yeah, it looks great.
I'm in. But yeah, I can't wait for this movie. It's great to see Pixar making some original movies again, because I feel like they were just making sequels and prequels and whatever, and it was just getting very tiresome. And it's good to see them actually throw some original fare out there, even though their original movies aren't doing entirely well. I mean, Elio kind of bombed, so that was a bummer to see. But I'm hoping this one could put them back on the map, because I don't want them to stop making original movies. We want more of that. Less sequels, more originality. So that's all I got to say about that. But
agreed.
Now we're going to shift gears entirely. Now we're actually getting out of Disney World, and we're going to be talking about the new trailer for Mortal Kombat 2, the sequel that I totally forgot was coming out, and apparently it is coming out. And we got our first big look at the movie here. Definitely looks bigger budget. Got great little additions to the cast, especially Carl Urban here. What did we think about this first trailer for Mortal Kombat 2? Let's start with you, Nancy.
Yeah, I also forgot this was coming out. And I forgot the first movie. I was trying to remember what happened. I actually like the first one. I think the issue was it wasn't very Mortal Kombat-y, I guess is the way to put it. It didn't follow the other movies. It didn't really make sense to the tournament and all of that. So we didn't get any of that. It was very much a setup movie, but aesthetically, oh my gosh, seeing Scorpion and everyone else, the fight scenes I think were really good. So seeing this trailer, I was so excited for it. I think the humor is great. Visually, it looks good. The story looks great. I also feel like we're getting a little bit of Johnny Cage redemption. You know, he was fantastic in the first movie, and then they just randomly killed him off in the second one. So I feel like they're focusing more on him on this one, which I think is great for anyone who is a Johnny Cage fan. I feel like we're getting a little bit of redemption here for him. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm pleasantly surprised with this trailer. I didn't think I would want a sequel, and this made me want a sequel and want to go see it as soon as possible.
Okay. Andres?
Yeah. As a big Mortal Kombat fan, I have to slightly put away my bias because I grew up with that video game series and it means so much to me. But I will say the 1995 movie is like probably one of the best bits of just 90s pop movies out there, because it's just like one of those things where it's like, you know, we all remember where we were when we saw the first Mortal Kombat. Like, that movie is so indelible in pop culture in terms of the soundtrack. I mean, for the longest time, like you would walk into a club and you would hear that freaking techno overdrive Mortal Kombat theme, and it's like, okay, this really caught on, so that's interesting. But
you would walk into a club in the 90s when you were like 10?
I was 2.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, clubbing it up.
Dude, I was getting lit in the crib, baby.
Yeah, but essentially, the 2021, the last remake that came out, I felt like it ticked a lot of the boxes, but it didn't feel like it had the heart of the franchise. Like, it sort of felt like it understood it on a very cosmetic level. But this one, I'm actually really looking forward to, because of the elements of, you know, as you said, Nancy, Johnny Cage is in this, and he's going to be the periphery character going forward. And I love that change from the original, because honestly, Cole is not really an interesting character at all, and is probably one of the most laziest written characters I've seen in so long. I mean, his power is literally plot armor, and I think it's a great choice to sideline him for the sequel, and to basically make Johnny Cage the POV character, which makes me wonder, do they kill him off in the first like 20 minutes or so? I don't know. Let's see when we come back in October.
I mean, there's multiple fight scenes with him, so I can't imagine they would kill him off in the first 20 minutes, which is, again, I feel like that's their way. It's a little nod to the original fans of being like, are bad. We killed him off the first 2 seconds of the second movie. We're gonna make up for that. And he, like, I love his attitude. I love the like snarky lines that he has, and also the fatalities in this. Holy crap, they look amazing. So
yeah. I was also going to say the fatalities all look freaking awesome, and the gore effects all look pretty good too. Also, I just love the small little characters that we're getting here and there. Baraka looks really fun. Yeah, honestly, I love the fact that they're focusing on the tournament in this one, and we're not like, that was the big problem with the original for me, or at least the last movie, was the fact that it took place before the tournament. And I'm like, so what are we working up towards? And then this one is officially going to be the tournament against Outworld. So I'm really looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And also, I do know that they shot this one particularly for IMAX too. So I'm going to be seeing that on the biggest screen possible.
Nice.
So I didn't really grow up with Mortal Kombat. So so I'm the outside perspective. So like, I mean, the games were around as I was growing up, but I was never really like super into them. Like I'd always watch people play it, played a few times myself, but like I never got like super into it or anything. Obviously the fatalities are always the most fun part to like experience and whatnot. So like going into that first movie, I had zero expectations and like it was okay. Like I just kind of felt like they didn't know what tone they wanted to go for. I feel like they just needed to like really embrace the zaniness of the source material and just kind of lean into it instead of trying to be like overly serious, which I felt like it was. Like it wasn't really having too much fun. This one looks like it's actually having a lot of fun, embracing the spirit, at least what I think the spirit is of the games, coming from someone who's barely played it.
Like I think.
But like it feels more like a video game, if that makes sense, but like in a good way, where it feels more so like in line with like the Mortal Kombat games. The action sequences look so much better. I love Carl Urban in this trailer. I think he's going to be fun to follow. And I just feel like you could see that it's a much bigger budget movie than the first film. I think they underestimated the audience for Mortal Kombat and how big of an audience that is. So I'm glad that they're really trying to go for broke here. And it looks like it could be fun. But like I said, I know like next to nothing about the story and the characters and the lore and everything. So I'm just watching this trailer like, oh, this looks pretty neat. You know, this looks like it could be fun, you know? So that's pretty much the expectations I'll be going in with. I just, you know, hope it's a good time.
Yeah. I think I will never not get chills hearing "get over here" and just that's just always my favorite. Scorpion was always my favorite, and then whatever the female version of Sub-Zero was that they had later on in the games. No, the female version of Sub-Zero. It was she was Frost, in the later Frost. Yeah, she was in the later
games.
Guys,
Frost.
Yeah, don't you know?
No, like, I knew that immediately. I just didn't want to embarrass you.
Which Tom, as an outsider going into this, they are coming out with something called the Legacy Collection for Mortal Kombat at the end of the summer, which is actually going to be the first 5 or 6 games all bundled up together in a classic little package. And that is probably one of my most anticipated things to get this year. So there you go.
But I can't tell if that was you telling him to get it or that was a hint for like a birthday / Christmas present.
No, he's just gonna end up getting it already.
Both. That is my Tom. I don't want to play this game by myself. Please enjoy it with me.
Okay.
I see.
I'll play. I like the Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah, Nancy. She's the one who actually likes Mortal Kombat. Why are you asking me?
I mean, what the hell?
I thought you don't have a system.
Yeah, I don't. That's true.
See, this is exactly it.
What the fuck, dude? I was trying to defend you. Now you're making me look like an idiot.
Listen, I can borrow things. I'll figure it out.
What are you going to steal a fucking Xbox?
Well, I'm sure my brother has like every system, so I can just hop on over there.
She comes back. She got blood on her face. All right, I got a system.
Mortal Kombat. I made it work. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus. But yeah, should be interesting. I'm still making my way through Death Stranding too. So.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's just a shame I have to get through just to get to the story, which I really like. But
a lot of walking,
so much walking, and so much falling in water.
Oh my God! Here's the thing. I played Death Stranding for a little bit, and that baby won't stop crying, and it cries from my freaking controller. And then I'm constantly throttling my controller, and Jen's just like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, because that does not look good on camera.
Yeah. No.
Not good at all.
But yeah, so I won't be getting that, but I hope you enjoy it.
You can cheer us on from the side.
Yeah. Andres is dying inside now. He's like, fuck. But but now we'll turn things around. We'll get happy again. Let's talk about our big movie of the week, guys. Let's talk about Fantastic Four: First Steps. This is the highly anticipated Marvel film that stars Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, Evan Moss-Backrack. And of course, this follows the titular team that we've gotten many Fantastic Four movies, pretty much all of them being terrible, even though I have a soft spot for the early 2000s ones because they're just kind of guilty pleasures for me. I get enjoyment out of them. But this is Marvel's first attempt at bringing them into the MCU. So we're going to be talking about this movie in spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to stop listening to or watching this episode. But we're going to talk about our general thoughts first, and then we're going to be diving into some spoiler territory. So you have been warned. So let's start with you, Andres. What were your expectations going in? What's your history with Fantastic Four? And what were your general thoughts about the movie?
Yeah, so my history with Fantastic Four is I actually am a really big fan of the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby stuff from the early '60s. Actually, it was a weird thing where during the summer before Spider-Man 2 came out, I was really big into going over to my local library and comic book shop and catch up on everything. So literally, I caught up on all Spider-Man, and then I went down the line on Marvel. So I caught up on everything Fantastic Four, caught up on everything Doctor Strange related and stuff like that. And there's always been this special thing about Fantastic Four where it felt like it was sort of like for lack of a better word, the Full House of all the other comic books, where it's like, hey, it's a family. Sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't, but at the end of the day, they make things work and stuff like that. So, and then going to the Tim Story Fantastic Four movie from 2005, I felt like that one was sort of, it was very much of its time. And I really liked it. I really liked it back then. I also liked the sequel as well too, Rise of Silver Surfer. Again, there's certain things that they didn't get quite right. I fucking hated the 2015 atrocious Josh Trank fan four stick. It's one of those movies that I constantly look at and I go, who was this made for? It certainly wasn't made for Fantastic Four fans. It also wasn't made for comic fans at the time. It was trying to Nolanize this Fantastic Four universe, and I felt that was a massive mistake on that front. Coming into this, I was really excited about the fact that there was a possibility that we might get a better version of these characters that's more comic accurate. And probably my biggest problem with all the other movies is that I felt like they nailed 4 castings of the Fantastic Four. Sorry, they nailed 3 out of the 4 castings for the Fantastic Four. I'm also tired, by the way, too, guys. but it's one of those things where, like, for Fantastic Four, it feels like in order to really get that right, you have to nail all 4 of the castings for the team members. And if you have one wobbly leg, it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Like, I really like the Tim Story movies, but Jessica Alba really sticks out like a sore thumb in that cast.
Yeah.
So I was going into this really excited about the fact that we were going to get a comic accurate Fantastic Four, and that honestly, the retro vibe and everything looked really great. And coming out of this, man, I was so happy coming out of this movie, guys. Like, this is probably the Fantastic Four movie that I've wanted to see my entire life. And the other thing too is they absolutely nail all 4 of the castings for this movie. Like, it feels like they got 4 charismatic actors that all work in their own way for each character, and each character sings in its own different way. And I loved Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I loved Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, and so on and so forth. And The Thing and Johnny Storm. Everybody was great in this movie. I will say there are minor nitpicks that I have here and there, but overall, this was such a refreshing and bright turn on the Fantastic Four. And I love the fact that it wasn't tied into anything in the MCU, really, because this is another universe. Honestly, I came out of this really enjoying it far more than I did. I mean, far more than I thought I was going to. And it was such a fun time. I really, really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. And, we'll definitely talk more about it in spoilers.
Okay, look at that. Very enthusiastic review. Nancy, where are you at?
Yeah, I saw the 2000s one. Honestly, probably once, and I didn't really remember much of it. I do remember specifically Jessica Alba standing out of like, this seems weird.
That was her era, man.
Yeah, it doesn't quite feel right. Yeah, I was very hesitant about this movie. The retro look of it, I was very thrown off when I saw the trailer. Right before, so I'd only seen the first like teaser trailer and I saw nothing else. And literally right before I went to go see the movie, I saw the most recent trailer. And the joke or humor that they chose to put in it was the like clobbering time joke. And I thought, oh no, this is going to be bad, because that joke just did not land with me. It wasn't funny. So I had very low expectations going into this. And then I saw it and I was pleasantly surprised. I was more emotionally invested in a lot of the characters than I thought I would be. They made it so, Silver Surfer with boobs actually had a purpose and it made sense. And it wasn't just let's gender swap for no reason at all. The story behind it was great. Who thought I would enjoy a movie about Optimus Prime trying to steal a radioactive baby? So it was really good. Some of the humor didn't land for me, I will say. But I think Johnny Storm was my favorite. Joseph Quinn is just amazing. I think he can do no wrong. I was very scared when I saw the trailer. I was like, oh no, they're going to give him like just stupid line after stupid line, but it was great. I will say it took a little bit for me, I think, for it to find its footing. For some reason with The Thing and Pedro Pascal, their lines in the beginning, for whatever reason, were very flat. And it just felt like they were just reading the script and not really putting a lot into the characters. But once it got into like the second act, I think it kind of picked up with finding their feet with those characters. So that was my only like qualm with it. But yeah, I feel like this is way better than I expected. And I would definitely highly recommend seeing this in the theaters.
Nice. Look at that. I mean, I will say, like I said, I have a soft spot for those early 2000s movies. They're flawed as shit, but man, they're still entertaining. I mean, I don't know. I have that nostalgic vibe with them, but this is by far and away. I mean, I don't even talk about Fan Four Stick. I just kind of treat it like a blackout, It's just like, I saw it. I don't know what it was.
Josh Trank.
Yeah. Just, my God, sure. What an awful movie. But, I can easily say this is the best Fantastic Four movie that we've ever gotten. I mean, by far and away. I mean, for me, this movie works because of the cast. I think the main cast, like Andres mentioned, perfectly cast. Like everyone is just pitch perfect. I'm done doubting Pedro Pascal when it comes to casting at this point, where every time I think, oh, he doesn't really seem like he would fit that character. And then I see the movie, I'm like, oh, he's fucking perfect. Like whether it's Last of Us or this, it's like the dude he's great. And there's a reason why he's in everything. And I loved him as Reed. I love Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. Like Nancy, I was kind of worried about his character, and I feel like a lot of people were kind of giving him hate after the trailers, and I was like, nah, shut your mouths. He's great in this freaking movie, and he's just such a versatile, fun actor to watch. And it was great to see him have fun again and not have to cry or scream on screen for once. So like that was literally like last night I was showing my buddy Warfare, which he's in, where like almost half the screen time he's just screaming in agony. So like I was just like, oh, it's so nice to see him smile and have a good time. So like I was really great to see that. And Eben Moss Backrack is the Thing, Ben, fantastic. And I will say I was worried about the look of the character. I know it was like more comic accurate, but it was like throwing me off in the trailers. But I think in the context of the movie, it works really well. And the whole retro futuristic vibe, I think, works wonders for the story. It's really immersive, and I love all the production design and the costumes, and I love the look and feel of this movie. In love with it. I think it looks great. But overall, though, I have to say, I feel like I might be in the minority on this one, where I liked this movie, but I did not love it. I do think that there are issues that hold it back for me. I think there are things that could have been improved, but all in all, I still enjoyed this movie. I feel like it's another step in the right direction for Marvel after Thunderbolts. I feel like we have like two solid like doubles or triples. We just need to hit that home run, and I feel like we haven't gotten there quite yet. It's just, I want to be excited about Marvel again, like genuinely excited, where like I'm eagerly anticipating every movie that, that's coming out, and just feels like that vibe isn't there. Even watching this with the packed crowd, it still felt very like lukewarm, where people are like, like kind of hesitant to be excited anymore about Marvel movies. Like there's no pops in the movie theater. You know what I mean? Like even, with the credit scene, which we'll talk about, that barely got like any like big pop, which it absolutely should have, since it's pretty insane. But yeah, liked it. Didn't love it, but let's talk spoilers, people.
Yeah. I mean, really quickly, let's just talk about what we loved about the chemistry with the cast, I would say, so far. Because honestly, I feel like one of the big things that they really got wrong in all the Fantastic Four movies leading up to now is that they never truly captured the relationship between Reed and Sue. And this movie, finally, I feel like for the first time since the Corman movie. Here's the thing. I'm going to be that guy. The Corman movie is available online on YouTube. You can watch it. But I felt like it was so funny because every single time people were like, oh, what did you think of Reed and Sue? And I'm like, I think they did it better in the shitty, unreleased Fantastic Four movie than they ever did with a bigger budget. And this is probably the first time that I watched the movie and I went, Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby truly feel like they like each other. And they like each other to the point where it's like, they feel like a couple that has gone through certain things together. And like that, they absolutely nailed the relationship and the love story between Reed and Sue. And that was just one of my highlights for the movie. And what did you guys think?
Yeah, they were good.
I think, yeah. And I also think that sounds weird. Having them have a child together helps because it actually shows a real relationship as opposed to, the other movies. And I think that definitely raised the stakes with the relationship and you get a deeper level with that, especially when the plot is, this intergalactic being is trying to steal their baby. It really puts the stakes higher. And I think we get to see a little bit deeper level with them. And so I think that was really smart to do because then you don't get this very surface level relationship that we've gotten in a lot of the other movies.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was so sick with the other movies that it's like, oh, it's the origin of Reed and Sue's relationship. And I'm like, no, just get it up and running, guys, because we've done this for so long.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they like kind of just gave us the cliff notes of their origin story and like they're already the Fantastic Four. Like I much prefer that. Like I'm so just done with origin stories, especially when we've seen it time and time again. It's like, just catch us up to speed. Let's see them now. Like that's why I've liked this trend of like catching up with superheroes like into their run, like not seeing their origin story, like whether it's Superman or the most recent Batman and now this, like it's refreshing. I like it.
Plus, it also just feels like the comics because the comics don't like all they do for the origin. They have like maybe like 4 or 5 panels and then boom, you're up and running.
Yeah.
And I love too that part of the origin story is that Reed blames himself for what happened and even I guess the Thing. I was like, I know he has a real name other than the
Ben
Thing.
Grimm.
Yeah, Ben.
Ben. Ben at some point says like, who would have known that? He's like, me. I should have known that. And I think that really fuels what happens later in the movie of like, now he feels responsible to save everyone. And now his child is at stake and he's like, I can't mess this up like I did before because it's my fault. And so I think that was really smart to, again, just kind of bypass the origin of it, but really look at the effects of what happened to them.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like going on with that about Ben Grimm. I'm so happy we have a thing that has already kind of learned to live with the condition that he has. Like that was the problem that I hated with all the other Fantastic Four movies is that essentially they always treated Ben as like, he's like really sad to be like this big rock thing. And it's like just the early eves of what's going on. Whereas like in this movie, it felt like we truly got a chance to see that character shine and have a catharsis where he's like, listen, I've moved on. I can still have a life with this condition. And I thought that was really great. And also Eben Moss-Backrack, like he plays that so perfectly. Like the animation on the Thing is also fantastic as well too. Like there's like these little like micro emotions that you sort of see in his performance that really shine through and really show his character. Like I just love the moment where he finds out that Sue Storm is pregnant and he's got like this little twitch where he's like, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? And like, it's the performance just coming right through. So I thought I thought Ben was particularly fantastic.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Natasha Lyonne pop up as his like love interest in the movie.
Yeah,
I was
she's not blind.
It's just weird to see her talk with that like without her like super thick accent. So I was like, it took a minute, but like I thought their like little subplot was really like cute and romantic, and like I said, I mean, like you said, it's great to see Ben just kind of like already like living with his condition, but also kind of just embracing it. And people love him. You know, like I love the scene of him lifting the car for the kids. That was adorable. I love that. It's like the whole like vibe, I just think was captured perfectly. My problem with the movie is just more so like There's a lot of pacing issues, A.
Yeah.
B, I feel like the action that's there is largely forgettable. And I do feel like the third act feels like, oh, we've seen this a million times before. And it just feels like I don't know, it was very bland. And Galactus as a villain is just whatever. Looks cool, sounds cool, but I don't know, didn't really make much of an impact for me.
Yeah, I do have to go back though. Did you say Natasha Lyonne did not have a heavy accent?
It wasn't as heavy as it usually is.
Yeah.
I think it was subdued a little bit. Yeah.
You're definitely from New York because she still had a pretty thick accent.
Have you seen her in like anything else? Her accent can be way thicker.
Oh yeah, no. I'm fully in agreement with Tom on this one because she has like oh my God, I forget what the Peacock show is.
Poker Face.
Poker Face, yeah. Poker Face in particular, but then also she's done so many indies in the past that like she really throws that accent in there, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's anyway, it was fun seeing her, but I like the thing that kept it going for me was the cast for sure, but like those are the issues I had with it.
Yeah,
I think Galactus, because he's just so like slow moving. It's not very exciting. I think they made it exciting enough in terms of like trying to get him into the beams and all of that. But yeah, I think when you have I think when you have just a slow moving villain like that, and it's more aesthetics than like, oh, this is a scary villain, it does kind of fall flat at some points.
Yeah, and I will say that there's not really much to the character Galactus in the comics. Eater Worlds, and that's all you really need to know. And they kind of like zip through that as fast as they could. But I felt the presence of Galactus. Like I felt that we finally got the character as he was written in the comics, where he's this larger than life thing. And he's also this eater of worlds as well, too. But also the moment that he lands in New York in the finale, I truly felt that ambiance and that presence where it's like, holy shit, this guy is really that big. And he's like, because when you see the movie in IMAX in particular, you really do feel
you work for IMAX.
I'm a big proponent for that.
Like, when you see it in IMAX.
Yeah, when you see it in IMAX, why are we from the South?
When you see it in IMAX, you truly feel them seats tremble.
Nope, don't start.
Don't try. Don't try now.
No. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like everything about the portrayal of him is true to the comic, and it is far better than what they did in the Tim Story movie. That's all I will say. But I think, I can't help but just feel like it's a little bit of a flat villain as well. But that's not from the fault of the writing at all. I think it's more of that's just the character, and he's not really that deep.
Maybe pick a better character.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to a certain extent, I feel like in order to really kind of gain ground with the audience, you have to sort of redeem certain characters, if that makes sense. Because I feel like with the brand being as tarnished as it was with the 2015 movie, they had to get the audience back on board with the Fantastic Four, but they also had to get the audience to know that they're in safe hands when they're like, yeah, we're going to get back Galactus and we're going to make him work, and he's not going to be a giant cloud. So that's kind of where I feel Galactus kind of really needed to, why he was chosen as a villain for this one in particular, less so to really kind of show what the characters are going through, and more of just, hey, we're going to do it right this time. Come on back on board. So yeah. But if we're going to talk about flaws as well, I would say probably my biggest flaw with the movie is that in terms of the writing for Reed Richards, the interpretation that I've always read from him in the comics is that Reed Richards is an egomaniacal person who is slowly starting to get feelings. And the thing is that they really kind of sidestepped it a little bit here, where Vanessa Kirby as Sue is going, you make all these horrible choices sometimes and you really hurt me every now and again. And I'm like, I really kind of don't see that between you guys. Like, I kind of felt like they played Pedro's Reed Richards in a very positive light throughout the entire movie, that we didn't get to really see that moment where she was like, holy crap, what are you doing? Like it's like I've always used this where it's like my interpretation of Reed Richards is very similar to the Venture Brothers portrayal of Mr. Fantastic, where it's essentially just, what's more important, your family or science? And then he just looks at Sue and just goes, science is more important. Like, he's one of those people that thinks so over analytically and scientifically that it's almost like he sort of has like issues with sort of being around people, if that makes sense. But then that's a very hard character to portray on screen. But I kind of felt like there was little touches here and there, but they didn't fully lean into it. And I thought, had they made the story about Reed Richards being this overly scientific and overly analytical person that is slowly starting to get feelings and slowly starting to change when his son is brought into the picture, like, that was probably my only real gripe with the movie. But overall, I mean, the portrayal from Pedro Pascal, I think, is solid enough. But I feel like Marvel was like, we can't do what they did in the comics, because if we portray that character, people are going to hate him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I was fine with it as someone who's not completely invested in the lore of Fantastic Four. I feel like that wouldn't have played off well. I think sometimes you have to make a smart move to go away from the source material if it's not going to work on screen. And I think in this case, it did work. I felt that we at least got enough of him battling between the science and his family. And, he does have that scene where he explains, like, I have to think of the worst thing possible so that I can make sure it doesn't happen. That's how my brain works. That's how, basically, like, this is my other superpower. My brain thinks 20 steps ahead so that I can make sure that we're okay. And, Sue just isn't really understanding it at that point. But I also feel towards the end when she's like, yeah, we got to use our baby as bait. I get it. It's the only way that this is going to work. I feel like she's understanding, okay, sometimes we have to make tough moves to like make sure that everyone's okay. And so I feel like it was enough for me within the movie. I think in terms of like the writing and everything, I think for me, just some clarification on some things would have been nice. So for example, towards the end, I was like, so does he want to like eat the baby? Does he want to like have the baby take his powers? Does he just want to kill the baby? Like, it wasn't quite clear what he wanted to do. And I think I would have wanted some clarification so that I knew, okay, what were the next steps and what could potentially happen. So things like that, I feel like were a little bit vague. But I think they made a good choice in keeping that vague with the character. But would have liked a little bit more detail with other stuff.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad they did not use a digital baby for the whole movie. I was like, oh my God, if you use this weird CGI baby for the whole movie, I'm going to freaking scream. I'm over the CGI babies that we've had in these superhero movies.
Yeah.
It wasn't Flash level, but yeah.
There's some moments. But I will say, I'm glad that they finally like gave Sue her due in terms of like showing how incredible her powers are. Like, I feel like in the past movies, like everyone's like, her powers are kind of lame. But I'm like, the things that she can do, especially in this movie where she is crucial to getting rid of Galactus, where she is just like the sheer force, literally pushing him into this portal, like by herself, essentially. It's just incredible. I think Sue is just a much better character here. Kirby crushes it. And like Andre said, I think that core relationship between her and Reed is perfectly fleshed out. And I love the dynamic between, Ben and Johnny. Like, they all feel so lived in and feel like a great family. Like, they just match that vibe perfectly. And the chemistry is off the charts with all of them. Like I said, even when there's moments where this movie, slows down substantially, or maybe it's not as exciting or entertaining, like, they're always great. And I feel like I just knew after I watched this movie, I was like, I want to see more of them. It's okay that this movie isn't as good as I wanted it to be. It's just more so like they're great as these characters, and I can't wait to see them continue to play these characters.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, when we're talking about all these characters, I feel very remiss if we don't talk about probably one of the anchor points of the movie, the Silver Surfer. What did we think about that character?
She's fine.
It's fine.
She's kind of a waste of Julia Garner, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I feel like I see both sides of the coin.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
Looked great.
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah. I once we got her like origin story and we figured out what happened, then I started. I think that's when I liked her character more, and I did like the weird banter that Joseph Quinn and her had, and that fun. Going on, and that he figured out her language and
I like that Johnny's not just some meathead in this.
Yeah, and I that's one thing. That's one point I forgot to bring up was that I love that they touched that they're all really smart.
They're all super smart.
They went to space. They're freaking astronauts. They work for NASA. They're not just these superpowers. And
I think didn't he say that line of like, I needed to find like the three most like smart, capable people, and they just happened to be like my family. Like it was just yeah.
He's like, happened to be my best friend, my wife, and my brother-in-law. And I love that they kept that in this movie. And the fact that Johnny figures out the language and he kind of has his own little side quests. And you see him, it's like he's smart, he's funny, and then also he's, about to sacrifice himself for his nephew. And, I feel like that was a little great kind of like side story that they tied into Silver Surfer. Towards the end, it did feel a little bit like a throwaway character. I don't know. Maybe she'll be back. But again, I like that they explained a lot of it and it wasn't just like, oh, we have girl Silver Surfer and that's fun. I like that they gave her a backstory and fleshed it out a little bit.
See, I think like when they showed that like flashback of her before she was the Silver Surfer, I think that should have been the whole opening scene of the movie. I think that would have been great, where like it shows her planet about to be destroyed and it shows her like becoming this. Like I feel like it gives it the emotional stakes and the fleshing out you need, so that like you feel that throughout the movie. She doesn't feel like it just feels like a very rushed backstory. Where I feel like that could have been really emotional and like really affecting. But they just kind of give you like the cliff notes of it. So like the entire time I was thinking, if the movie started like this, that would be dope. And then it goes to like the Marvel credits, that'd be sick. Kind of like, even though as terrible as what was it, Thor: Love and Thunder was, like showing Gor's whole backstory as the opening scene of the movie was great. So I just feel like
I like Thor: Love and Thunder.
I like Thor: Love and Thunder too. It's not the best.
I'm gonna go now.
You should, Tom. You should.
But like that's basically what I mean. Like the opening scene of that movie, like make it for this one, but with the Silver Surfer, I think it would have been a lot more effective.
Yeah. I mean, I do see where you're coming from with that as well. But I think one of the important things that they needed to establish right off the bat is they needed to get you on the side of the Fantastic Four right away. But I think for what we got with the Silver Surfer, I think what we got is adequate enough. It's more than we got with the Tim Story movies for sure. Because Tim Story's Fantastic Four movies, they basically don't even really go into his origin all that much. They just go, oh, I'm the Surfer, I'm heralding for Galactus, that's it. But the thing that I really love is that the CG looks really good on the Silver Surfer. I would say there's moments where we get close-ups on her, and I was like, oh, this is really impressive, and this is far better than what was viewed in the trailers, I would say.
Yeah. She even has a little metal tear that comes down at one point. Like, oh, that's really good.
the one metal tear, but I was also really really impressed by the shot where Johnny is seeing himself reflected on the Silver Surfer, and I was like, oh, that is something they would never have attempted to do in the Tim Story movies at all. And I thought that was a really great detail. But also, I just feel like they were able to capture her performance quite a bit. And she was able to say so much in very few words. Like just in the execution of the Silver Surfer, just being this being that's heralding the demise of other worlds. And you could almost feel the regret that she's having when she has to come down. She goes, yeah, you guys have been picked. Sorry. Like, she's been on that other side too, and she knows the consequences, but she's kind of been a little detached from it for a little bit. And then Johnny is sort of the that shot in the arm that basically goes, yeah, listen to all these people that died before Galactus came on board, and you were responsible for this. And just the performance that Julia Gardner gives in the very limited time that she has, I felt was much more than we've gotten with previous interpretations. So I thought that for the time they spent on the Silver Surfer, it was time spent well enough. But I would love to see that character come back. Sorry, I just bumped the mic.
Oh, boy.
Excited. Yeah, and if you think about it, it's kind of the opposite of the Fantastic Four, right? Like, she's sacrificing other worlds to protect hers, whereas the Fantastic Four is like, we're not sacrificing anyone. It's, we're not giving up our baby, but I did
people
really
couldn't understand that. I was like, come on.
Really? You really think there wouldn't be people in the world that are like, yeah, give up the fucking baby. We like save the world. I 100%.
I'm saying it's very easy to say when it's not your baby.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Though,
I just felt like it's just like, are there that many people out there who just like don't see it from a parent's perspective of like not wanting to give up your kid?
Oh, I 100% believe that. Like, if that actually happened, that's what I was thinking when he said that in the press conference.
I knew there would be backlash, but I was like, Jesus, guys, she's a mom.
No, when he said that in the press conference, I was like, oh no, don't say that. I was like,
I know. I was like, why would you divulge that information? I was like, that would.
They're gonna
you're honest to a fault.
Baby. Yeah. But when she gives that speech, I love it. How she's like, I'm not going to sacrifice my baby for the world, but I'm not going to sacrifice the world for my baby. And I feel like that was the complete opposite of this Silver Surfer, and you kind of see her realize that towards the end. So it's a good juxtaposition between the two of them.
Yeah. Speaking of the baby, what do we think of that credit scene?
It's cool.
See, that's exactly how people reacted. Like, literally, it happens. All I heard was, like that. That's what I heard. Like one reaction, and I was like, wow. 10 years ago, this would have been like people fucking just screaming in the theater.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Comic-Con. I fully believe, as much as like Comic-Con is like so fun and like everyone there gets this great experience, we got that we were going to get Dr. Doom a long time ago. And so you kind of start piecing together either who's going to be in there, or you have already seen the look of someone. And so when you see it for the first time on screen, I feel like it doesn't give you as big of a pop. It was cool. I was like, oh, I didn't maybe expect it this early. But I feel like because of where we're at now with the internet and everything else, it's so hard to make those moments much bigger. And I think this was one of my gripes with, I forgot what other movie we were covering, but I'm like, we've seen all of this already on the internet. And so when it comes to actually seeing it in the movie, it's just not as exciting. And I miss the days where, we got Iron Man and we got a post-credit scene that actually meant something, because we didn't know there was going to be an Avengers movie. We didn't know any of this. And that was the way we found out. And so I feel like now they're not even doing credible post-credit scenes. They're doing mid-credit scenes because everyone knows everything already. And so I just miss the days of like, we're not finding out about things until we actually go see the movie. And I think that is really hindering those big pops in the theater.
Well, that Marvel has produced a lot of mediocre shit over the past several years, so people just aren't as into it.
And the other thing too, I'm sorry to say, but when Matt Shakman, the director, basically revealed that the Russos had directed this post-credit scene, if like the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, it felt so.
Oh wait, they directed this one too, the post-credit scene. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
They directed this.
Did that? That's so weird. I don't like that.
Yeah, no, but it's one of those things where if no one had told me that, I'd be able to tell you, because here's the thing. Every single post-credit scene that they've directed using the cinematographer that they're going to use for Doomsday, it looks like shit. Like, it looks like the focal points are all over the place, and there felt like a drastic shift in style, and it made me go, oh, okay, yeah, no, we're getting back to the regular, just like, oh, just, they're I don't think the Russos are that talented. I think that for what they did with Endgame and what they did with Infinity War was fantastic.
And
but
Winter
everything
Soldier.
And Winter Soldier, yeah, absolutely. But
My
what they
favorite
did,
Marvel movie.
oh yeah, no, and
Don't forget
rightfully
it.
should.
Don't you dare forget it.
Oh, I'm not going to forget it.
I'm
not
standing here
also
on
gonna-
business.
Civil War. but like you look at all the stuff that they made afterwards, like
Oh, and Civil War.
Cherry.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, there you go. But like after but like after
then
after
they
their
just made
career
shit,
with
yeah.
Endgame, they just made like shit with Cherry and with a whole bunch of stuff that you go. Let's not even talk about the Electric State right now.
I
like,
forgot about that movie.
Me too.
That was 4 months ago, guys.
Oh,
That's how bad it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
it felt like a year ago.
And those guys are directing probably the movie that Marvel needs so much more than anybody else right now. But anyway, it's one of those things where like the post-credit scene just feels so cheap. Like there's not a line that's spoken from Doom. There's also nothing to really indicate that that's maybe Doom. Who's to say that's not a Doom bot? Who's to say that that's anything really? And also with these post-credit scenes recently, who's to say that that's going to mean anything later on? There's been so many post-credit scenes where nothing means shit. So yeah, I honestly, at the end of the day, I saw that post-credit and I'm like, I feel nothing at all. And Doctor Doom is one of my favorite villains of all time, and I should be feeling something, but I just don't feel anything at all.
Yeah.
Do you think it's also the kind of like at the end scene too, when she dies and the baby brings her back to life? It's similar to that. Like I had no emotional investment in that because I was like, she's gonna come back. I think that's with Marvel is like everyone comes back anyways. And so I think it's very similar of like, well, there's not a lot of payoff to these post credits that we've seen lately. So it's a lack of faith, I feel like.
Yeah. Like this is a reason why I'm very up for Gunn doing post credits that mean nothing. They're just like little funny postscripts to the movie more than anything else, and not teeing up anything in the future, unless it's something that they know is in production and something that they know is going to be essential for people to know going into the next movie. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just felt very cold to this post credit scene, and I don't know. I don't know if it's Matt Shackman's fault or, I mean, I think probably it's more Kevin Feige's fault more than anything else. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel anything.
Do you think you would have felt differently though if you, one, didn't know they were making Avengers movie, and two, that Doctor Doom was revealed as Robert Downey Jr. at Comic-Con? Like if you had not known all that, do you think it would have had a bigger effect?
Possibly I would have had a bigger effect. I mean, the thing is, we know that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be playing Doctor Doom, and then also found out the disappointing news from Comic-Con that essentially has been confirmed that Robert Downey will not be wearing prosthetics as Doctor Doom. And that is the whole point of the character of why he wears the stupid mask to begin with. So I'm just like, yep, nope, they just want to make it clear that it is Robert Downey. So
I hope he's like some variant and then dies and then we get a different Doctor Doom or something. Like it doesn't, I don't know.
I feel like as much as that choice has been controversial, I feel like people forget like Robert Downey Jr. is a great fucking actor. So like,
no, he is.
But like, I feel like he can make Doom pretty solid. Obviously,
No,
it's just.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Robert Downey Jr. It has to do with like the fact that he was just Iron Man. Like
the timing's not great.
It's not. Yeah, it's everything to do with that. So like, if you can make it make sense, then yes. But I just don't see.
Well,
how
I think
that
that could work to their advantage because I feel like all the people that see him are going to see Tony, and I feel like that could create some good like emotional moments where like he has no idea what the fuck they're talking about, and meanwhile they're like, like you're Tony Stark to us. Like this is just like I feel like that has potential in and of itself.
But in that world, they don't have Tony Stark, right?
Well, they're going to come into the world of the other heroes.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if it's like. Again, it's like a variant of
because the Thunderbolts post credit, you see the Fantastic Four ship coming into like their
right. World. Yeah.
Well, that's also another thing that Kevin Feige has said. It's like that is the Excelsior ship, but who's to say the Fantastic Four are on that ship?
Why would you say that?
Yeah,
they already confirmed the Fantastic Four are going to be in the fucking Doomsday.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I was thinking, how does this connect to Thunderbolts at the end? And it's like. Don't think too hard about it.
I thought I thought the end of the movie was going to be them going into like our
That's what
universe.
yeah,
I
that's
kept
what I
waiting
thought too.
for it, and so when it didn't happen, I was like, well, then how the fuck did they get over here then?
Yeah, that's what I thought
You
too.
know-
I thought when they were gonna jump, I was like, oh, maybe it happens later, and then they come at
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was confused.
Yeah.
I,
My brain
I
hurts.
I felt more, if we're going to talk about excitement for Doctor Doom, I felt more excitement for Doctor Doom when he did not appear at the UN in the very beginning, where they cut to this little sign that says Liberia, and there's clearly no one sitting there. And I was like, yeah, Doctor Doom would not go to the UN.
I was see, I have no background
yeah.
about anything. I was like, I'm sure that feels important because there's someone not there, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah, Doctor Doom is the dictator for Liberia. That's what that means. So yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know.
All right. Well, overall, though, what do you think we would give this one out of 5 pints, guys? Immediately throws it to Nancy.
I'm just giving it to
I'm
Nancy.
thinking, yeah, I was very stuck between 3.5 and 4. I know we don't like our 7.5, so I'll go 3.5. 3 pints and a little shot. I think it was really good. It definitely has its flaws with some of the writing. Again, the humor didn't land for me. The villain was slow, not as exciting. But I think what really got me into this movie was I was not expecting to be as emotionally invested in the characters as I was. And so I think they really nailed the casting and the characters for this. So I'm going to give it a 3.5.
All right, Andres.
Yeah, everything about the movie I feel is what a quintessential Fantastic Four movie should be. And it got me excited about these characters again, and the casting was totally perfect. And honestly, just the bright and the really awesome retro vibe of the movie is something different that we haven't seen in a Marvel movie. And this feels so fresh in that universe that I want to see more of. And honestly, I want to see more of this universe not connected to the MCU. That should say something right there. But overall, I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It's probably the best Fantastic Four movie that we could possibly have hoped for. But honestly, I'm going to give it a solid 4 stars.
I mean, pints. Come on. Know what show you're on.
4 pints.
There you go.
Yay.
And I'd give it 3.5. I did really enjoy it. I wanted to love it. I just didn't quite get there. I think the casting's perfect. I think the retro futuristic vibe really lends well to the story and to these characters. It's just a refreshing take on these characters and absolutely the best Fantastic Four movie that we've gotten so far. And I'm really excited to see them show up in the MCU and interact with other characters. I think the potential is there for that to be really entertaining. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, make sure you guys let us know in the comments what you thought of Fantastic Four four steps. Jesus Christ. Fantastic Four
There was
four
no
steps.
first steps.
There's 4 steps. Let us know what you thought of Fantastic Four first steps in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the trailers for Hoppers, Tron Ares, and Mortal Kombat 2. And before we head on out, where can the fine people find you guys on the interwebs, Andres?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Galagos. You can also find me on this as well too. You can also find me editing our mutual friend David Joyan's Cinemoji show as well. And also, I know I talk about it every episode. We are like literally getting our last couple of notes in for our Metal Gear Solid 3 retrospective, which is going to be released actually in about 2 or 3 weeks. So keep an eye out for that. I'm really freaking excited for it. I can't wait to show the world this. And so that's essentially where you can find me right now. And also you can find me on Letterboxd as Galaghost. So there you go.
All right, Nancy.
Find me at Twitter and Instagram at PL_Bandaid. Of course, here in the comments, over on Cinemojis every once in a while. And side note, Devil Wears Prada 2, I was not excited about, but now Rachel Bloom is joining the cast.
Yes.
And now I have to go see it. If you're not a fan of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, go watch it, and then go watch The Devil Wears Prada 2. That's all.
All right. And you guys can find me on Facebook and YouTube at Chattelbash Reviews, Twitter and Instagram at Tom Chattelbash. And you can also find me on Letterboxd at T Chattelbash if that's your thing. And just thank you for tuning into another new episode of the show. We appreciate it, whether you watched it or listened to it. We appreciate you tuning on in, and we will see you next time on an episode of Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.